lovely people, you're welcome to my channel. Today we are going to sew this beautiful dress. You can use it for wedding, you can use it for church service, Thanksgiving, anything. So what we are going to do is, this is going to be for the inner, and we are using this lace for 8. Okay, so what we'll do now is, I've already placed the measurements on it, and when we look at it, this place is from shoulder to bust, which is 12, and then from shoulder to under bust, which is 15 plus half, 15.5. Then shoulder to waist, used my shoulder to waist, I'm using 17.5 plus 1, so making 18.5. So in order to know the amount of fabric to put on fold, you divide your bust measurements into 4 plus extra allowance. So the bust is 44, let's say 43, but I'm making it 44. And so 44, then I added 2 inches to 8 to make it 13. So 44 divided into 4 is going to be 11 plus 2. Okay, but I have more than that here. And so that's the amount of fabric you put on fold. So when I open up, it's going to be 27. Okay, so we are going to measure the neck width. The neck width you are using for this dress, we are using 3 inches for the neck width. We use 3 inches for the neck width, and then we come to the neck depth. The neck depth I'm using for this is 7. I'm going to add ½ inch to 8 to make it 7.5. Now when it comes to this place, you are not going to measure exactly 3. We are going to extend it, and so you measure where you want it to be. I place my tape measure here, then I'll measure 7. This is my 7.5, and so this is where I want. At the end of the day, it's going to be here. When I sew, it's going to be on 7, and so here, then I'm going to measure from here where I want it to be, and this is going to be 12, or I can use 13. So this is it. So this is what I will use. Either 12.5 or 13. I can use any. And so where you want it to get to, you can decide to come in something like this or any length you want. So I'm going to use 12.5 for this. I'm going to use 12.5. And so using 12.5, I will place it here this way. Then I'll measure 6 1/4. 6 1/4. So I'll measure my 6 1/4. Okay. And so this is how you're going to have it for the front neck. Now with the back neck, I'm going to measure 1.5 for the neck depth. 1.5 for the neck depth. Then I'll just use my curve to curve it, join it to the neckline. So this is it for the back neck. 1.5. Okay, and so I'm going to place my shoulder measurement, and my shoulder is 16, so 8. I'll add ½ inch to 8, making 8.5. And then my armhole is 9, so 18 divided by 2 is going to be 9. So I'll place my 9 here. Then I'll place it here also. Okay. Then I'm going to do a shoulder slope of 1 inch. And I'll join it to the neck line. Okay. So I'm going to draw my armhole curve. Then I'm going to get my front armhole. So 8 divided into 2, 4. And then I'm going to measure my 1/2 inch. I have a video on how to cut basic body, so basic bodies pattern. So if you don't understand anything I'm doing here, you can refer to that video. I'll leave the link in the description box. Okay, so we are going to place our measurement on it. The bust that I'm using bust 42, 43, but I'm going to do the measurement here 44. At the end of the day, I'm going to reduce it when I'm sewing. Okay, so I have 11 here plus 2 for the allowance. Okay, then I'll come to underbust. This is my underbust. And the underbust, I'm going to, before I place the measurement there, I'm going to mark my dart. And the dart I'm going to mark 9, and that is 4.5 here. Then I'll mark the same thing at the waist line, 4.5. Then I'm going to mark the same thing at the bust line, also 4.5. This is just a basic dart. So at the underbust here, I'm going to measure 1.5. I'm going to measure 1.5 here. So the 1.5, I'm going to divide it into 2, and I'm going to give it 0.75 on each. And so when you measure, I have 1.5 in between. Then at the waistline, I'm going to make it 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. I just want the bust line to go in, the under bust line to go in. So I have one here, I have 1.5 here. And so this is it. Okay, so I'm placing my measurement on it. I'll leave this like that. Now on the waist, I'm going to use 36 for the measurement. Even though my waist is between 34 35, I'm using waist 36. I don't want it too tight. When I wear and I feel it's loose for me, I'll just reduce it. Okay, so 36, that is divided into 4, and that's going to be 9. Plus the 1.5 here is going to be 10.5 plus 2 inches allowance, 1, 2, so 12.5. So I have 12.5 here. I'll place the same 12.5 at the waistline, even though the waistline, the dart there is 1 inch. I don't want any funny curve, so I'll still place the 12.5 here, and that is so cool. Okay, let's join it this way. Just taking about half from the bust line. So this is it, and so we are going to cut this out. So this is it. So I'm going to cut the neck now for the front. Okay, so this is it. And so for your back pattern, just add 2 inches for zip allowance to it. Okay, so I'll cut the front armhole also. Okay, so this is it for it. So that's how it's going to be. Hope you can see the neck shape. So this is it. Now I am supposed to put this on a lace and cut it, but the lace, I'm not going to add that to it. Already placed the measurements on the lace. And so with the lace measurement, I deducted the waistline, I deducted the dart measurement from it. And so if it's 36, I'm using 9. This is 9 plus 2, 1, 2, and that gives me 11. I didn't add the dart to it. I don't want that in the lace. Okay, so this is it for the lace also. So I'm going to divide the back into 2. Okay, so this is it. The dress length is 57. 57 minus my shoulder to waist, which is 17.5. And so the rest is what I used to cut for the length of this. The length of the satin is equal to the length of the lace, but at the end of the day, I'm going to reduce the satin length after sewing. I'll fold some of the length in so that it will be short, then I can have much of the waist down there. Okay, so let's go on. So for the waist, just as I did for the upper parts, 9 plus that, I'm going to make it 1, and then plus 2, 1, 2, making 12. That is for the darts. 12. And then when I come to here from, I'm going to use 9 for the waist to hip. I'm going to use 9 for waist to hip. And 44 plus 2, 1, 2, plus another 1 for that. Okay, so 14 here. Now when I come to the down here, I'm going to make it 10. I'm going to make it 11 here, 11, but at the end of the day I want less than that. So the rest will be, I want 16, then I added 3 for allowance. Okay. I'm supposed to place this on the lace and cut. I'm going to deduct the darts from the lace. So I already made my measurements on the lace. And then the sleeve. I've already made my markings in the sleeve. There was a video on how to cut long sleeves. I'll leave the link in the description box for you to watch and learn. Okay, so I'm going to get my front armhole. Okay, so this is it, the down parts and for the upper part. So we are done with the curtain. I'll bring you another video on how to put all these together, so stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching. If you have not yet subscribed, consider subscribing, like and share the video. Bye bye.